everyone. I wanted to take a minute to just talk about something that I just feel like I'm encountering a lot of, and it's something that we are around all the time, but I just don't think we talk about a lot, even though it really is affecting the way that we socialize and the way that we're processing the world around us. And usually this show is much more of a fun dynamic and more tongue-in-cheek, but the heartbeat of our show is, like the motto that we have on the wall is, let's have more fun. That really the goal of this show is to help families and remind families to just enjoy life more. And it's just as much a reminder for the Sargent family as it is for the people that watch. And I just wanted to take a minute and talk about negativity. There's just so much negativity and criticism that is around me and around you just all the time. And I feel like you go online and it's like we're inundated with it. It's like that's our natural response, is to kind of tease and to complain and to criticize people, especially people that are different than us or think differently than us or believe differently than us. And there's really not a day that goes by, maybe even an hour that goes by if you're online all the time, that you're not faced with this just constantly. And it makes me realize that that's, I think, a huge reason why, just from a social perspective, many of us, and this isn't just my opinion, this study after study that says many of us are struggling with all types of loneliness, and finding it hard to make meaningful connections and friendships, finding it hard to trust. In fact, there's several studies that say it has never been harder in the history of our country for us, like as an average person, you and me, to just be able to trust somebody else. Like our trust level is at an all-time low. Our distrust level is at an all-time high. And I think a lot of that is in response to the negativity, the lack of encouragement, connection that we feel with one another. And I just feel like we kind of just live in this time that is very similar to how most of Jesus's teachings were, where Jesus would be teaching or sharing a parable or trying to explain the world from a different perspective. And all the time, as he's sharing, in the back of the room, there were always these very religious Pharisees that are just grumbling and complaining and saying, he's wrong, he didn't know what he was talking about. Sometimes they'd even say it out loud, like, well, Jesus, what about this? And then he'd kind of say something to counter their point, or he'd prove them wrong, or he'd shut them down. But it's almost like no matter where Jesus went, he had these critics. And it just kind of feels like that's the world we're living in now. Like no matter what we say, there's always critics. And a lot of times we actually filter and don't feel like we can honestly share how we feel because there's critics and because there's people that are going to speak out against it. And I think maybe the most ironic thing about all of it is, as a Christian, I feel that it's very difficult for me to openly share how I feel about a lot of the things happening in the world around me, because I will be criticized and because people will mock me and make fun of me or say that I'm judgmental or hateful, even if that's not where my heart is. And again, ironically, I feel like that criticism isn't just coming from people that believe differently than me. I think I receive just as much criticism from other Christians. Like there's this weird civil war happening where we are all turning on each other because of this contagious spirit of negativity and criticism that is all around us. And so I guess the word of encouragement I just want to give us is to seek to be positive and to seek to be optimistic. Seek to assume the best, not the worst in somebody around you. I think you'll find that a lot of the people that you think are your enemies, or as the media calls them, your enemies, and the people that might think differently on certain situations or issues, you probably have a lot more in common with them than you don't. And so it's not our differences that separate us, it's the things we have in common that bring us together. And I think it's that positivity that we probably need now more than ever. I like to say it's a great day to have a great day, because it is, because it's your choice how you're going to view the world around you. And you can complain and be upset and look at all the wrong things that are going poorly in society, or you can appreciate what you have, what God has given you, and just like Paul did while he's writing from prison, with such joy and optimism, because he knows that it really is a great day to have a great day.